Hi everybody, Jose Rodriguez here with Men of Impact. Today we got a cool guest. He's actually a pretty good friend of mine, good buddy, one of our coaches here at Impact. Berny Richardson runs a little non-profit deal on Instagram called Go Figure. But just a fun, cool, positive guy that I think's a good, interesting case to talk about. Why don't you just tell us about yourself, Bernie?
My name is Bernie, and I'm a husband, father, goofy guy. I've got two boys. One is 22, and the other will be 21, or actually 22 and 21. And then I have my daughter who's 10. And anyways, let me give you a little bit of a little kind of what has happened in my life that has maybe made me a little bit the way I am. When I was a junior in high school, I had a manic episode that put me in a psych ward for a while, and then they diagnosed me with bipolar, which runs in our family. And that was probably the most difficult. I've had two of those episodes, one again when I was in my late 20s, which didn't affect me quite as much because the first one happened when I was, like I said, a junior in high school. And I felt the way that people looked at me after that really affected kind of who I was. But at the same time, it made me empathetic, I guess I'm using that big word, right, to other people that are going through rough times. I think that's pretty much where things kind of started changing for me as far as just kind of who I was. I also, I struggle with just my self-esteem, self-worth, stuff like that. You wouldn't always know that because I usually put on a pretty good face, but that's definitely something I struggle with on the daily. But I'm just turned 50 not long ago, and I feel like I'm living my best life as far as healthy, as healthy as I've been. So I could be healthier, but anyways, that's kind of where I'm at.
All right, so it's all about where we've come from, how far we've gone, not necessarily about where we are, right? Because my current standing could be somebody's past, but I also could find somebody else and they could look at me and be like, that's where I want to be, right? So it's really interesting to put it in that perspective, I think. I always like to focus first on how we identify, right, as men. And I think every guy comes in and they, and we say, tell me about yourself. And we always start with the roles we play as men, right? And you started, as I'm a husband, right? So tell us about that. Like, how do you feel as a husband?
Oh gosh, how do I feel as a husband?
Adequate, secure, confident?
I feel as a husband and a father, I feel very secure in that. There are times when I feel like I could definitely do better, and I feel like a lot of times I don't strive to do better. A lot of times I work nights, and a lot of times on the weekends I find myself couch surfing, and when I could be taking my daughter to the park or just being more active, and for the whole family would be healthier. But in saying that, I don't feel like I don't do that at all. But that's something I want to strive to be better at.
I apologize. I'm a father, and I have my two littles in the background playing, and I got to take a brief little intermission. Kids, nose on the wall if we can't be quiet. You're being way too loud. Thank you. Sorry. So yeah, it's awesome to hear that you're secure and confident in those things, because obviously those are, from what I see in the past, our video clips, those are real easy roles for us to feel insecure with, right? Because those are probably the most important ones. I don't think I've ever told you this, but I kind of refer to you a little bit, just because I know a little bit more about you than our viewers will. Maybe they will hear in this conversation, but you're kind of the Robin Williams of the group, right? You're funny, you're easygoing, you're a big ball, right? You're always good, man. Like, I feel better hanging out with you, always. But we all know what happened to Robin Williams, right? And I would say until Robin Williams, I didn't really think about that. Like, because I show my pain on my face. When I'm having a bad day, you kind of figure it out. You know, you kind of mask it, right? And so you're confident as a dad and a husband. But what about just you as a man? What do you struggle with?
Well, just recently I had to take my car and to get some stuff worked on. Anyways, I'm not mechanical at all. Usually when I try to fix something, it ends up costing me more than if I just would have taken it somewhere and got it taken care of by the proper person. So that honestly is a struggle for me, because, you know, that's kind of a manly thing. I've never really shot a gun. You know, that's kind of something I've wanted to do, but, you know, there's been plenty of opportunities.
Oh, we're gonna have you over.
Yeah,
Man, I didn't know that.
Plenty of opportunities.
Fix that.
But just, you know, and recently went up to Professor's place and helped harvest a pig.
Yeah.
Huge. Putting your hands inside an animal, I'm telling you, it's
primal.
It is, and it was something that was very. It was good. It was kind of
cathartic, maybe.
Healing.
Healing.
It was a little hug. It was nice.
Nice.
And thank you for that. It was a beautiful moment.
It's interesting, right? What we associate with for manhood, right? As a man, I'm right there with you when you like. One of my simple, I'll call it a simple insecurity, because really, is it that big of a deal that we don't know how to work on a car? Not really, because we have jobs and we can pay a mechanic and that sort of thing. So it's not, you know, like, I'm not going to die if I don't have a car, if I can't, you know, versus maybe, in a sense, like, if we had an apocalypse and you had to start killing for your own food, right? I think they say we have 90 days worth of stored food ready to go, right? And ultimately, we could have an apocalyptic event where all electricity's off grid and there's no power, right? So refrigeration, all food, no storage, everything goes rotten and bad. You're gonna have to forage and you're gonna have to hunt, right? So I think, you know, knowing how to shoot a gun, knowing how to hunt something, kill it, gut it, prepare it, those are life-saving events, right? Being a mechanic, probably not so life-saving, right? It's important, but I still feel insecure as a man, in a sense that I'll go hang out with other bros that know a lot about cars. You ever done that? And they start talking, oh yeah, it's got a double header, 3 double tool exhaust, override, and I'm throwing a shaft on a, I don't fucking know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah.
You know, I smile, oh yeah, or nod. But,
oh yeah.
Yeah. But the reason I don't really know, I mean, I had a stepdad for part of my life that showed me some basic stuff, but he wasn't even a mechanic himself.
Right.
I think he showed me how to change the oil, change spark plugs, how to change a alternator, I think, and that was about it. You know, anything else other than that, you know, and then of course what do cars look like now? That was like a 1970s car. Now it's just a block under the hood with a couple little wires hanging out. Oh, I'm like,
it all looks the same.
is there an alternator in there anymore? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't even think I think new modern cars, my truck, I don't think I have to change the rotator. I don't have to change the rotator. I don't have to change, you know, the rotor and stuff. Like that just, I don't think that exists anymore. So
my dad was very, I mean, not a bad person, just didn't see him a whole lot. My mom and him split when I was 4, and then my mom didn't get remarried until I was in 6th grade. And then my stepdad brought 2 boys and a girl to the mix because I'm the only child.
I was gonna say we were the Brady Bunch, but that's
nah,
only
not
like
quite
5.
Yeah,
4.
yeah. I don't know. I'm not good at math. And then back to the whole, you know, the guy stuff. You know, like, you know, hunting and all that stuff. Making a fire. You know, it's you know, I mean, this doesn't really get me like all crazy, but it's like, you know, you go camping and you get up early and you're trying to start a fire, and then your mother-in-law comes out and, you know, within 5 minutes has the fire just roaring, and you're just sitting there going, wow, you know.
Yeah. You can relate to my wife. My wife doesn't know how to start a fire.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I'm usually on it, but and that's something, you know. But those are things that typically get handed off from our fathers, right? The men that came before us, fathers, uncles, that sort of thing, maybe even grandfathers. And one of the things I think this podcast really points out is men of impact. That's why I call it men of impact, not just because it's impact jiu-jitsu. It just kind of worked its way into it, made me realize men of impact, men before us who made an impact. Some of us had them and some of us did not.
I had two grandfathers that were fantastic. I spent a lot of time with them, and
Nice.
that might be why I kind of gravitate towards the older, you know,
Older fellas?
Older fellas. I don't know what it is.
Maybe. But what I'm thinking is that, so like, you know, my stepdad he taught me how to hunt, how to fish, you know, the gut and the pig and all that stuff. That's what I learned from him. You know, minimal stuff about a car, but I know how to start a fire. I can find my way around in the woods without a compass and a map, like those kind of unique things. But I also learned some bad things from my stepfather. I learned how to improperly deal with your anger through violence and frustration and just blowing your tongue. You know, and you know, there's you know certainly some struggles with that. Tell us a little bit. You know, so you didn't get to grow up with your dad a whole lot, but then you later had a stepdad. Between your stepdad and what maybe little experience maybe you got later with your dad at all, how'd that play into the man you are today?
Well, my stepdad and I clashed for quite a while in the beginning.
How old were you when you came in?
6th grade.
Yeah. Probably like 11, 12.
Yeah, and then to go from being an only child to having a you know, 2 brothers and a sister, and you know, I'll admit,
share.
The what?
Having to share.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit I was spoiled. I mean, not like to where my mom got me everything, but you know, I had my mom's attention.
Yeah.
You know, and
time's
you know,
a huge gift.
Oh gosh, I mean, I still talk to this day. I talk to my mom probably close to every day, if not every other day, like just a few minutes even. Yeah. And so that's good. I mean, I wouldn't say I had any traumatic relationship stuff in my life growing up. I feel like I've been pretty blessed with people around me, but not having a father in living with me or whatever from that 4 years old to 12 or whatever, that's huge. I mean, you know, when you see your friends going to ball games with their dad, or just, you know, hunting or whatever it may be, working on cars, or you know,
About what age were you diagnosed with bipolar?
I was a junior in high school, so probably 16, 17.
Okay, but when could you say you maybe felt like those, the characteristics started to become more clearly present?
Probably a sophomore, and I don't know, probably a little bit here and there. I know.
Could we safely say right about the time you hit puberty? Started to become a man?
Probably, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've experienced as a behavioralist and I worked with a lot of teens, typically on the spectrum, but the reason that's relevant is a lot of kids on the spectrum they have bipolar, they have OCD, ADHD, really the spectrum is all those things into one in a lot of ways, but knowing that during puberty, man, even the ones that were medicated and everything seemed to be fine and dandy, like we know as an average male or even a female going through puberty is its mind fucking itself, right? We're just like overwhelmed with thoughts, emotions, insecurities, right?
Absolutely.
And then to throw on, something extra like being obsessive compulsive, attention deficit, bipolar, essentially bipolar, you're either really happy or really sad. There's not much in between. It's like a switch, right? But I'd almost like to estimate or just simply guess to say that it's an educated guess that the lack of fatherhood during that most crucial time, I feel, was probably not necessarily a cause, but I could even almost say that you had one because of the other. You know what I mean? If anything, one made one way worse, right? Because when we're going through puberty and we're having all these emotions and these feelings, and right, especially as men, what was great is you had your mom, and hopefully you had a decent enough relationship you could kind of talk to her to some of that degree, but we get thoughts as men that women don't get.
Yeah.
We have so much testosterone flowing through our system, and then especially at a point, it's just different. We're men, and there's. I think it goes a long way. So when you can be able to sit down with another man, right, and say, "Hey, I'm going through this," and to hear that other man, "Yeah, me too," or "I did. I know what you're talking about." Right? Huge impact. And I think we lose sight of that sometimes. I think it's really that part's gonna be huge, right? I'm sure you can look back. You got two boys that are men now, right? That you can look back at those puberty times, right?
Oh.
Were those some rough times?
Oh man.
Right?
Yeah.
But guess what? If you weren't there, it probably would have been a little more rougher. Does either one of them been diagnosed with bipolar?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're able to relate to that.
Oh,
right?
100%. And it's my worst nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
We all want what's best for our kids, that's so when something, like the thought of seeing them go through what I know I went through, whatever, it's scary. It's and I do not have it all together by any means. I'm like roller coaster still, and I'm just glad I have a wife that, and then my mom, and then certain people. I know that if you saw some things in me that weren't quite right, you'd say, "Hey, what the heck's going on?" It's important to surround yourself, even if it's just a couple people, just to surround yourself with people that can recognize those those moments, you know.
Not having a father directly in your life, but you know, did you ever reconnect with your father?
Oh yeah, I mean, I
At what
talk to
age?
him every once in a while. Oh gosh.
Would you say you started reconnecting?
I wouldn't say we reconnected. It was just a very spotty. You know, like I go visit.
Is it
visit
still
him.
spotty though?
It's still spotty. Yeah.
Okay, so it's never really
more like just a friend, just
somebody you know.
Yeah, so
acquaintance,
yeah.
right?
I mean, you know.
But you don't go with him with your. Do you go to him with your struggles?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So not a close friend.
No.
Not a close friend.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is the question I want to ask is what you didn't get or didn't have versus what you provided for your sons and are still currently, right? You're not. I mean, obviously they're still pretty young. They're still just becoming men. I mean, we arguably say that they're probably not really going to reach maturity until past 25. So there's still a lot of boyish in them.
Right.
What do you notice is different versus what you're providing versus what you did? And is there anything you're really specifically focusing on and trying to make sure you provide?
You know, I think the biggest thing is just being an example. I know that's been a lot. They've picked up a lot on that. I mean, you know, they've got their own struggles, and as a father, I've failed in a lot of areas too. You know, as far as bringing them up, maybe coddling them too much or whatever it may be.
But you're really nice dad. You were probably the fun dad.
Sometimes.
Well, probably too much.
Maybe probably.
I bet you something tells. I would like to ask your wife, but something tells me she's more the enforcer of the house. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
I just feel like
You
you
might
probably,
ask that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking you, like, I think, and Becca probably knows what to, like, who to go to who on what. Right?
I scare her though. If I use my Batman voice, she just kind of freaks out because I don't do it very often.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying.
But
Because I don't think, I mean, I'm sure you put your foot down on certain issues.
Respect
but I think
is huge. Respect.
Yeah.
Is huge. Like if she talks to her mom, you know, I can take a little bit, but when she talks to her mom, I don't like that when any of the kids.
That's
talk.
usually me too. Like
Yeah.
I'm more backing up mom. Mom, hey, what'd your mom tell you? What mom said?
Yeah.
I didn't. No, that's not. Better do what mom says. You know, kind of thing. Yeah, but I tend to be. I'm more of the hard ass than she is. But at my house. But I just don't see you being that. Maybe though. I mean, maybe I could completely.
I'm probably not.
I don't think you're a hard ass.
No, but I think for me though, I really feel like leading by example is huge.
Do you think you fail at that at any point? Right, currently.
Oh, if I fail at that?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Where do you think you fail at it most?
Oh man.
Give us a couple if you have a long list.
And this might not be what you're going for, but like when I was talking about couch surfing on the weekends, not being like, hey, let's move, let's go do stuff, and just kind of, I don't think that's what you're going for, but that's.
No, I'm not going for anything.
Okay, no,
I'm asking you.
Oh, I don't know.
Because I want our viewers to reflect and maybe connect with you,
Yeah.
right? And everybody's going to be a little. Some won't. Some will,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well,
So where do you think you're doing the? I'm going to just call it. Where you think is the worst example? Where are you the worst example that you think you want to be a better example of as a man to your sons?
Gosh, I mean, I know there's stuff. I mean, but I'm a pretty laid back kind of. I mean, I'm not a very. Let me ask it this way. If
you're 50, if either one of your sons was where you are, who you are, at their 50, would you be satisfied? Would you be content as a father? If you
100%.
could look back on it.
100%.
Okay.
I wish more for them, but
Well,
I mean,
So
Like-
then
No,
you're
no,
saying
no, no.
you say be satisfied,
No,
but
no,
now you're
no.
saying I want more
No, no,
for them. No, I wouldn't.
Okay. I'd be satisfied for that, but like I want them to be. See, I don't know if I have any like I remember Angelica talking about passion.
Mhm.
Remember that day?
Yeah.
Just talking about like what are you passionate about? So I'm passionate about my family. Just
Uh-huh.
it's.
So if they were passionate about your if they're passionate
If they're
about their
passionate about
family,
family, hey, that's fantastic. I would like to see them find their passion in something. Like my oldest son is passionate about music, and he's going to school for music, and he's got big dreams and big plans, and I just hope he just takes that to the.
That's awesome.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just takes that to the limit.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think it's kind of the joys of the journey, just
Okay.
kind of just seeing them.
yeah. Do you think
Blossom.
your passion for family comes with the fact that you had an awkward one, or
Oh.
non-traditional, let's say?
Yeah, that's my, I love being at home. I love
Yeah.
being with my family. I love driving around with Stacy and just being goofy or whatever. And I love time with my family. I am
Yeah.
so glad that I am not the opposite, to where I know, there are people that
I just wanna
would
get
rather
out.
be out.
They'd rather be at work.
They'd rather be with the guys at
Yeah,
the bar or
yeah.
whatever it may be.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I'm just super blessed, and
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. What's your relationship like with your dad? You said it's still kind of spotty. It's not really friendship.
it's not bad.
Does he provide fatherly advice at this point anymore? Or?
Not really. I mean, we can talk. I mean,
How old's your dad?
my dad's close to 70.
Okay, it's not real.
Oh no, probably Steve's age. Steve, yeah, that's probably why I gravitate. That's where Steve's so.
You're filling a void.
Yeah. But no, I mean it's not bad, and I mean there's a lot of times I'll think of him or whatever, and he lives in Missouri now, and think about calling him, but it's just sometimes when that relationship hasn't been cultivated or whatever, it's like.
Do you long for that? Do you ever wish it was?
I am. It's other stuff is filled.
Yeah.
That.
Would you say you have a pretty good relationship with your two boys?
Oh yeah, see that's what
Like, are you close?
yeah. That's,
Like, do they come to you for their bullshit?
and that's fantastic, because I'll tell you right now, back when they were like they're hitting puberty and stuff, I just wanted to take them out in the front yard and kick their ass. I was like, I told Stacy a couple times, I'm like, I want to wait till they're 18 and I'm just going to take them outside and kick their ass. And why I wait 18 and all that. Anyway, I was just spouting off, but I enjoy my children.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you could already say that the fact that you didn't have that is why it's so important to you, right? So that's one of the things that I do notice about like I'm in a similar boat because I didn't have a lot of that per se. I got something from a stepdad, but not it's not the same as a an actual nurturing blood father. That's why it's important for me I'm a stay-at-home dad. That's why I want to spend time with my kids and focus on breaking that cycle. I think about that fairly regularly. Cause there are still days. I mean, mine aren't that old yet, but they're like, oh my God, I want to just shake you a little extra. Hug you a little, maybe too tight. But I think that I want to develop that great relationship because unlike you, I have a mom. I was in and out of my life, a lot of foster care, a lot of trauma there, and so I don't have a real close relationship with her either. So I don't even have that. Like I realized after my second divorce, I didn't have anybody. Like I was searching, dude. I was by myself. Like, all I had were friends, and you know, and I really, really struggled with that, and didn't have any real close family. I got a couple half sisters I'm not close to, yeah, it was really kind of scary. And I think when we decided to have Rebel, and shortly after that we decided I don't want her to be a single sibling. I mean, we both have kids from previous relationships, but they're so much older that they'll get to know each other probably to some degree, but I don't think they'll ever build that relationship, a strong bond, connection, right? And so we decided to have JoJo so that those two always have each other, right? At some point, I'm not going to be there, right? At some point, you're not going to be there, but your boys will have each other, right? Becca will have those boys. And I think that, for me, that's really, really huge.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And just seeing the way JoJo and Rebel are just, I can see it as, you know,
yeah.
Or I have seen it over the past couple of years, just their relationship and the smiles they have for each other. And
they are all right to kill each other, but they won't let anybody else do it. That's what I've seen so far. Like even I will try to, you know, be a little bit of I don't know what the word I want to use. I'll try to harass one of them. Like, oh, hey, this is sister's toy. JoJo, go hide it. No, that's Dee Dee's. He will not. But he'll terrorize his sister, you bet. But he won't let me do it, right? You know, or if I get mad at one of them, the other one's over there. Oh, it's okay. You know what I mean? So that's super awesome. Let me ask you about being a father to a daughter, right? How's that different for you than being a father, especially since you have two grown boys? You know, do you reflect on that? Are you doing things different? Is there a double standard there?
Not really. I just know that like right now she's my little buddy. Yeah. I mean, as far, and I don't mean that like, hey, let's, you know, it's just she loves me. She verbally, you know, voices that, and she likes to go hide toys with me or whatever it is we're doing, and just I think I'm a little bit like, you know, we talked about just letting the kids do more and not doing it for them.
Yeah.
And I'm more that way with her than I was my other boys. You know.
Yeah. Are you saying you have favorites?
Not at all.
Not on camera.
No.
That's awesome. I think about, I mean, as a father, I think about being the example, like you said, right? But with boys, I'm showing my son how to be a man, right? And as much as I think I appreciate all the single moms out there, they're never going to be able to quite do that like a man could, right? There's just things I think that go through our head, feelings, emotions that another man can relate to, struggles, thoughts, problems, challenges, and so I'm really looking forward to getting to do all that with JoJo as he grows up and progresses, right? I mean, your boys are still really young. You get a lot left still to help, and for me that's really exciting. But with a daughter, it's different because now I actually think it's harder, believe it or not. And I think I maybe stress a little more about it because I believe I am showing her what to expect from a man.
Oh, yes.
Not how to be a man,
no,
but what to expect from a man. So
what's acceptable? I
have to be, and it's challenging. I got to be very specific, and I'm not always. I will tell you, I certainly screw up on this sometimes. But like when I talk to mom, when I talk to her mom, when I talk to my wife, and I gotta remember to watch my P's and Q's and be respectful and be honorable and address her with love and affection and respect. even when I'm pissed off. And that can be hard. Because she's gonna see that, right? She's gonna, like, I've literally had my daughter go to me and my wife, and we're arguing, tell us both, calm down, guys, calm down. Oh, we calm down, and we're like, oh, it just makes us realize how much she's paying attention, and
But not just for Rebel though, JoJo as well.
oh, for sure.
But I know what you're saying.
I mean, he's gonna see how I treat that 100%. But Rebel, you know, ideally, you know, if all things go as biologically as they should, you know, she's gonna meet some dude and fall in love and have a life, right? And I believe how I carry myself will greatly impact, and maybe it doesn't, I don't know. It's just my belief. Will greatly impact how successful she is in choosing the right man for that journey, right? And you know, I could also arguably say I blame my mom for making a few bad choices because I didn't have a good choice in the first place. I didn't have a good example, right? What's a good woman? What should I be looking for? All this stuff. I didn't have a female there to give me advice, and I didn't have a man there to give me advice. I kind of had to trial and error, and I definitely erred a few times, right? I really weigh heavy on being a father to both a son and a daughter, but I'm big on that example because children learn more from what's caught than taught. It's all about what they see me do, and how I treat mom, and how I treat other people, and what's acceptable, and because they're gonna do all those things more based on what I do, not what I tell them to do. You know, and so it's huge. Do you have anything how do you feel about, you know, your daughter's future and your role up to this point and then going forward?
And just like with my boys, the way my boys will talk to me, still, I pray that, you know, my daughter will still want to talk to me and hang out with me, and I hope nothing changes.
But I think you said you feel you have a better relationship with her at her age this point than you did with them at this age?
I wouldn't say better, just different.
Different?
I don't know.
Because she's your little buddy. She follows you. She goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Were they that way?
My youngest son, I didn't come into his life until he was, well, probably a little bit younger than Becca.
Okay.
And it was probably a very similar with my oldest son, but
but that's super cool. One of the I don't know if anybody caught this, but I catch this. You know, and this is kind of my I guess my skill set is that you just now made us even realize he was your stepson. Did you realize that? You just said I came into his life. At this point, as far as I knew and was concerned, is that I think maybe we've talked probably previous. You probably told me, but that's a credit to you as a father. I think that you didn't refer to him at any point because even when you introduced, I got 2 boys. You didn't say I got a son and a stepson. That's huge, dude. And that probably reflects directly on your relationship with him and how you feel about that.
you want to know what's huge? Is wow. I feel like I'm a baseball coach at a pizza parlor again, handing out trophies. He refers to me as father.
That's awesome.
As dad.
Is his biological father in the picture at all?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
He was
but
when I came into the picture. He was very little.
Okay, and then it just slowly went away.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. I mean, not awesome. I mean,
no,
that's not awesome. But
no,
the fact that
no.
that's how he views you, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, it's
a huge gift.
Well, and it's also a testament to you. It's a testament to the emphasis, the effort you put in being his father, playing that role, right? That's tough, dude. Being a stepson myself, also having a stepson, I can appreciate that more than I can say. It's not an easy role to play. I wish I could have done that. I didn't. The little boy I started to raise, I think he was 11 at the time, said, you know, he wanted me to be a stepson. He wanted me to marry his mom. I said, okay, awesome. We did, you know, basically that, and then within months, but his dad was very much in the picture, a regular basis. It was a shared custody, I can only believe that I think his father was not too keen on the idea, and it just quickly, he was very much a daddy's boy too, and it created a wedge. And he when he said he wanted a stepdad, and what I thought a stepdad was, part of it was also my fault. I don't think I approached it well. I came in guns a-blazing.
Right.
So, all right, I'm stepdaddy. This is what I'm doing. This is how things go in this house.
Yeah.
And it didn't go well. It didn't go well. And there was a lot of butt heads, and to a point of like, you know, it's fine. I'm like, clearly, you don't want a stepdad, at least not the stepdad I'm trying to be. And so we just came to a mutual agreement, kind of almost shook hands and said, all right, your mama's going to deal with you, and I will step in as necessary. I mean, I stepped in a few times to be her backbone and said, nope, that's what your mom said. This is how we do things here. That's it. But I didn't really get involved in the parenting. He's 17 now, and I'm not, you know, he's an adult. He's got 2 parents. And, you know, I just, you know, maybe whisper in my wife's ear occasionally when there's things that set precedents for my 2, you know, saying, okay, you're letting your boy do this or not do this. Is that what we're going to do with these 2? Because then I get to decide whether, and then I feel like I've got input into it. But
and that's the hardest. Gosh, when my wife Stacy and I got together, you know, we were both bringing boys to the table, and you know, if I say something about, you know, her son, or you know, or she says something about my son, then you know, Mama Bear or Papa Bear come out, and it's, oh my gosh. I mean, you know, people think blended families are easy. They have no idea.
No, but would you agree? I've heard this before, that blended families are tough, but there's a huge significance leaning towards success when they end up having a child together.
Absolutely.
Because that child becomes the glue. Because I'm going to tell you, Miss Rebel has helped me accept stepbrother a bunch more. Why? Because she loves him. That's her big brother. I want to go see Big Brother. I love Big Brother. She's just all about him. He's a big fan, and and I think it's helped him too, you know, and in a way, you know, it relates him and I together, because we're now 2 men that need to protect her, right? We both have her best interest, so we now have something to bond over, right? We'll always have Rebel's best interest, and then of course now we have Jojo too, and he just helps to that. Just stronger, another stick of glue.
Yeah.
You know, can you relate to that? Do you think your guys' mixed family became, when all of a sudden when you guys had this Becca, you know, was she gluing you all together a little better?
Yes. They both love her dearly, and she is one lucky little lady. That's for sure.
She's got 2 big brothers.
Oh yeah, and
now those brothers, they have that share. They're like, we're both responsible for this little girl.
Yeah,
especially when mom and dad are gone, right?
Yeah, I mean they're very good with her.
Nice, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean you have a nice little interesting life. I mean, you're only 50, so you got a lot left still to go.
Or Becca tells me I'm halfway to 100. She won't say 50. She's halfway to 100. So I don't know if that's a huge accomplishment or.
Yeah, that's a hey, good job, you made it. You at least got that. You at least got halfway.
I'm not thinking I'm gonna make it to 100.
Or it could be like, damn, you're already halfway there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask her. What advice in closing do you think you have? I mean, hopefully people will take from this and pull their own advices out. I think one of the things I can say is that from what I've gotten from it is, one, it's reassuring, especially since our last two guests, we were just talking before the show, the last two guests seemed that they were all intents and purposes normally well-adapted people, good relationships with their dads, raised in a normal life, have good relationships with their children. Everything seemed as it should be, kind of almost textbook-y. You know, you and I not, right? But despite not having a textbook life, you seem to be doing a really good job of creating I think your boys obviously will probably not, they didn't quite have a textbook life because obviously they have different, parents. They have they're part of a blended family. But from what I gather, from what I see, and just in this conversation, I think you damn near will almost do, if that makes sense. If you understand what I'm saying, is that it's like, just because it's a blended family, you almost wouldn't know. Like, I think if I were hanging out at your house with your boys there, and just in how you talk and how you refer to your stepson, I don't think anybody would know. You know what I mean? I don't think it would be, oh, that clearly is, his son, that's your son, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge credit to you. So what I would like, maybe in closing, if you have any other advice too, for sure, but I would like to know, or at least share with the audience, any advice you might have and how that happened or how that works, and words of wisdom, if anything.
Just like you were saying, the kids are watching. Be mindful in what you do, and be an example. Just know your kids are watching, and remember just the little things. It's the little things you might do for your children, compliment, as well as for your wife, or girlfriend, or significant other, or whatever it may be. Those little things are a lot more important than just like one big huge thing, once in a while. Just, you got to work at it. It's not something that comes easy. This is definitely something that's, you just got to work at it day in and day out. There's something else, but find something that helps your mental health, whether it's exercise, hanging around with a group of people that you can talk to, or that's what you and the crew you give me, and my wife Stacy encourages me, because there's been times where I've wanted to just give it up and just go to work, come home, go to work, come home, and be in my own little misery or whatever.
Yeah.
She knows that me being here, even if it's for a day or two or whatever it may be, talking with you and the guys or whatever, the gals, and sweating some too, is good for me. So she's very encouraging that way. So just do something for yourself, as well as for your family. And by doing something for yourself, you're doing something for your family. So I guess that's it.
You want to change the world, change yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's really, a lot of times we can look at the bigger picture and seem really overwhelming. I want to be a better dad. I want to be a better son, a father, whatever. Start with just being a better self, right? I heard it. I've been listening to this one podcast. Jordan Peterson has this little, I think it's about an hour long glimpse of he does a speech. It's just a monologue, and within that he says, that he points out it's very interesting how we care for others that we care about, right? If you had somebody, let's say a child or a loved one, and you were put in responsibility to care for them, right? You care for them, right? You know how you care for them. You take care of them. Make sure they were happy. Make sure they have everything they need, right? So then now let's say, do you care about yourself? Right? Care about yourself, right? Care for yourself. We're not doing that sometimes. That's really tough. And I know parents will sacrifice, but what happens is if we sacrifice too much and we're not taking care of ourselves, when my kids come to me and they're having a bad day or having a problem, and I haven't taken care of myself, I'm not capable of helping them and fixing their problem very well, if at all, right? And so it's a really big thing. Tell me right now, do you care about yourself?
100%.
Okay. As you would care for your son or your daughter, care for yourself, right? As you would care for your wife, care for yourself, right? And whatever that is. So that's really, really big. The last thing I want to just point out, another thing that is kind of unique to our conversation in this with you versus the ones we've had so far, is you're a great example that, though my last two could arguably say they were a great example of why we should have a father in our lives and what great can come of it. You're also a really good example of having a great mother, it sounds like. You know what I mean? Your mom was able to overcome a lot of, because why? And what tells me that? You're a great dad, right?
You said it though earlier though, that you had like mad respect for single moms.
I do.
Yeah.
Because I realize how hard it is. Because my mom tanked at it a lot. Because it's super hard. The fact that I have respect for the fact that your mom clearly didn't, right? You're a great guy. And because you're putting into this world great other human beings. That's how I validate myself, or I hope to validate myself one day, is that these little human beings are going to grow up to be good human beings. They're going to make the world better, not worse, right? And if I can say that, any of my own personal accomplishments don't matter, really, right? That they'll be gone. Somebody will come along.
Your personal accomplishments.
Well, yeah, right. That's yeah, absolutely, right? But they'll carry on for well after I'm gone, right? My other personal accomplishments will die with me, right? I'm not in any record books, Even if I accomplish, even if I do get in between now and then, I don't know, might break a Guinness book somewhere. I eat pretty fast. I might have a shot there. Somebody will beat you. But somebody will come along and beat us.
Yeah.
So those will be erased, right? They won't, right? So I think that's awesome. I think that, obviously, I think it's a saving grace for some of us who didn't have a dad, right? Or don't have a dad. I think if you can have a strong mom, moms are pretty powerful. Women are amazing, right? They can easily do a lot of what we can. You're just a good example of just because we don't have dads doesn't mean everything. I also had some great, what really saved me, for me, and that's probably why I emphasize so much of myself into my coaching, is my coaches. Some of my coaches really saved my life. It at least kept me out of prison, for sure. And that's why I don't take coaching so lightly, because you never know who you're making a difference and you'll impact their life. I don't necessarily think I think some of my coaches know because I've reached out to them over the past, right? But and maybe they think I'm just, you know, patting their back, but I'm not sure I could, you know, get them to quite understand just how much they saved my life. And I think that's a big part, right? You've been a coach or a coach here, you know, don't take what you do here lightly, right? You're, you know, like, just like you don't want to come here and work out some days, most of the people that are working out for you are probably the same thing, right? And you got to put that face on and be like, let's go, let's have fun, right? So thanks for having this conversation with me.
Well, thanks for giving me the opportunity,
Professor. Letting people get to know you a little bit, and hopefully, you know, that relates and grabs somebody a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
Hey.